up here. Let me start with Mayor Victoria Oga. She is a well-established, well-organized film account manager. She has moved over 100 titles. And when I say 100, she says I'm underestimated, so she will get to share just a bit of her intro. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give Mayor Victoria Oga a welcoming round of applause. I'd like also to invite Andrew Ohio. Andrew Ohio is a very interesting man. He has ICT in his background, banking in his background, media communications, owns a TV station, but then of course the business of film distribution has been his interest. Can we give a welcoming round of applause to both of them? Okay, I think we should all be pleased with the conversation that has been unfolding during the week, from the importance of having a film commission, to the art of production design, and so on and so forth. And I hope that at least half of you have been able to be a part of the conversation. But that is the art of film. Right down to the directing discussion that we have this morning. That is the art of film. Now we come to the business of film. And I think it is no exaggeration to claim that in our market, Botswana, the one area that has been least developed is the area of distribution. If I'm exaggerating or inaccurate, please indicate, do we agree on this one? Yes, it's an area that is least developed. So we are going to have an opportunity to share the experience, to share the skills from the experts that seem to have it right, that seem to have got it right by experience, by the performance of their business. So I'm going to just quickly give both of them a minute each to self-introduce and comment on the importance of this aspect of the film industry, which is distribution. Let me start, yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Once again, my name is Andrew Ohio. I'm from Nigeria. And in Nigeria, we get to make things happen. You don't wait for anyone, because if you wait for anyone, you wait forever. So that's what drove me into filmmaking, because I studied computer engineering, like you said, and that was what I thought would give me my daily needs, make me okay, go to work, and then you get paid at the end of the day. But then it was not satisfying, and it was limiting my ability. So I thought about it. What interests me the most is to watch films, to listen to music. Then I listen and watch film just for the sake of it. But I can't be watching film and listening to music and not making money. It's the same thing as watching football. I can't watch football and then I'm not making money from football, because the passion is too much. The passion we put into football is too much for me not to make money. Same thing with filmmaking. And when I got into filmmaking, there are so many people that have been there forever, that have done this and they are still doing it. So how do I become a household? How do I make myself, introduce myself big? It's for me to know the business. So I have to learn the business of filmmaking, which a lot of people don't really have an idea about, because they concentrate so much, well, we all cannot be the same. They concentrate so much in the act of filmmaking, and then they forget about how do I get my money back, which is the most important, and that's why I'm here, to be able to make you understand how you can get your money back. Thank you.
Okay, can we give that an appreciation, applause? Victoria has also the skills and experience in the creation and production of film, and of course she's sharing today on the business of distribution. Victoria.
Good morning, everyone. So how do I greet in Botswana? What do I say? Tumela. That's it. All right. So my name is Victoria Oga, and I represent a company called Film One Entertainment. We are a distribution company in West Africa, basically the biggest distribution company in West Africa. So you can do well to check us out online just to see what we do and how we do it. Have worked with them for about 6 years, And in this period of time, we have been able to involve, unlearn, relearn, and then keep learning, because you're not able to figure it out completely. You need to keep doing it and then get better at it. Averagely in a year, we would distribute about 100 titles. This includes our Nollywood films now, the Hollywood films, so the studio film like films from Marvel, Disney, Sony, and what have you. And the ratio to the Nollywood film is about 70% local films and then 30% to the Hollywood films. Now, you would ask me, why are you taking the Hollywood films? The bills need to be paid. And for you to be able to grow the markets, you need to be able to balance these things up. Not to say that Nollywood films are not productive enough, but you have to manage it, because most times we have the same reality as you, not having enough money to create good films, not having the right budget to create the dream that you have. So most times you see producers just working with what they have, and they have like the perfect story sitting down in their box. You're not able to put that together because there is no budget. Now, as a business of filmmaking, how would the industry survive? You have to merge all of this together. Hollywood will always come correct. The blockbusters will give you the numbers. I remember when Wakanda was released last year, and then it launched Nigeria into the first 1 billion naira in box office. We've never done it before, and we did that from Wakanda. And so to see that you can marry both, it's very important, and that's what we've been able to do in Nigeria. Basically, I'm here to just discuss about film business, and the question is, where is the money? So I'm here to show you the money. Thank you.
Show us the color of money. All right. I think despite the transition from traditional and into digital technologies, Africa, perhaps as a whole, is still left wanting in terms of penetrating the access to the abundance of markets globally. I want us to start first with understanding just what this business model is. If you're talking about selling tomatoes, it's take one commodity, stand in the market, and somebody wants to cook and eat it, buys it and eats it. But what does it look like, the business model of distribution? Just a few pointers, yes.
Okay, the model is, first of all, what is distribution? Distribution is just getting a product to the final destination. So if I was a consumer, I want to be able to consume your product, and that's distribution. So basically sharing content to anywhere that money can be made. That's distribution. And the model is simple. It is, who wants to buy my content? That's one. Who was this content made for? That's two. How do I get there? That's distribution. So by the time you're able to figure out these things, the how, the who, and how, or the when, then you're fine. So I think that's like the very simple model of distribution.
Okay. In Botswana, I think primarily we haven't had the theatrical distribution much from at least local film producers where you see our product in cinemas. We have had distribution to television broadcaster, and there is now an introduction of online platforms. In fact, we have done the house-to-house sale of DVDs a lot. So I want also, Andrew, for you to share with us just what is the market? What is the nature of the market, as Victoria is saying? Who wants to buy my product? Where is this market for this product?
So basically, I always tell producers and creatives, before you do anything, you need to know where you are selling to. You need to know who your target audience are. If you are doing a gender-based film, if you are doing a youth-based film, if you are doing a comedy, a drama, or you are doing documentary. So you need to map out, okay, so if I make this film, if I'm making a film with 5 puller, for example, how much do I want to make back? I want to make my 5 puller and also make like extra 2 puller or 3 puller on top. But then I know that for me to make 8 puller, I need to start from somewhere that is safe, where I can have my investment back. So that's why I fall into the local distribution. First and foremost, you must look at the local distribution that can give you value If there is none in Botswana, for example, maybe they won't license your content, for example. I know there's SABC, I know there's what's Zambia? Yes, Zambezi Magic. If you could just watch, all you need to do is take your time, watch those channels very well, see the programming, and then feed your content into that line. For a start, if you want to go to the bigger picture, that's a different ballgame entirely. But to start and move from the basics to the highest level, you need to start from there. So when you make a film and you pitch to, I'm always forgetting, Zambezi Magic, for example, you are sure of getting at least half of your money back. When you are done with that, then you now come on to the other platforms that are outside the DSTV range, maybe other channels that can give you some money. Then, I was talking to someone this morning. I learned that YouTube is not monetized here in Botswana, is
Yes,
it?
some technicalities there, yes.
Yes, something like that. You could partner. Okay, so maybe we've not got to that point yet. You could get a country, someone from another country that is. I thought about it. Your contents are very good because I've seen a few. Because you put in quality, you put in time. You are not in a hurry. I won't say we, I am in a hurry because I want to make money. So I will do it well, but I won't take so much details like you are taking because I know I have YouTube. As long as I have the elements that makes people want to watch my film, I put it on YouTube and I make money. There was a day I was looking for money, I needed some money, and somebody just called me, oh, your YouTube content has made so amount of money. I collected the dollar and it sorted my bills. So sometimes you need to look for people that already have that platform and say, okay, can we partner? I'm going to be supplying you Botswana content. There's a market for it, that's the truth. You may not know now. If you look at Cameroon, for example, and look at this other country, one of the East Africa countries, when you check their stuff on YouTube, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million views, and they're making a lot of money, and they don't really care about platforms because they made their money there. So when I go to them and say, oh, your content is very good, let me give it to channels, they are looking at me like, what are you talking about? I already made my money from YouTube. So you could harness that opportunity and do collaboration, find people that their channels are good, reach out to them, and then see how you can move from the first level of distribution, which is the local channels, to YouTube, and then you now come to the Amazons and the rest of them, which is going to expatiate on.
Okay. Yes, I want you also to expand on this one.
Okay, so I'll be talking about, my explanation would not come from this angle. So it's coming as an independent producer. It's also coming from an angle of the budget you have, who is going to go to. I'm coming from the big scale, because we start from the big and then we get to the small. That's another medium of distribution. So ideally, the way it should work in any organized society is that when you have a film, you would have, in your mind, thought about where is this film going to. And say the film is supposed to go to the big screen. When I say big screen, that's the cinemas. Your next thought of line is, how can I make this film look like the big screen film? So what are the onions I need to put in it? So even if I have all the budgets in the world, what are the elements? Because the budget does not cut it. What are the elements? What kind of actors are commercially viable? Is the story commercially viable? Is it something that people will sit down and then pay tickets? Because this is something that you need to pay for. So would I bring out a particular amount of money to watch your film? Is it worth it? Is it worth my time? Or do I just go to the bar and drink? So you need to be able to have that element in your film. Another thing you need to look out for is, what is the message you're trying to pass? Every film should have a message. And how do you pass this message? From the assets, from the title art. It needs to look catchy. You don't just type and say the name of the film is Victoria, and then you just use any fonts. You should be very deliberate. You should have a look, a feel, a tone, and all of that. And then when you've been able to put all of this together, you should have also gotten through to a distributor to say, oh, I'm working on this idea. And distributors would not jump on your project when they haven't seen anything that is catchy. So even if you go there to say, oh, I have all of these things, nobody's going to listen to you because people are after what can I see and what can I grab. Now, if you have prepared like a deck of what your film is going to look like, your budget and all of that, and show this to a distributor and say, oh, I have this, I have that, I've done my own work, I want to do this is what I want to achieve. Now, if the distributor is in line with your passion, he says, okay, go shoot the film, let me know. And you're done with the film, we bring it back, all good to go. As a distributor, your next step is, how do I position this film? Positioning in the sense that, oh, do I agree with the producer? Is this film really for the big screen? And if it is, oh, let's get a date. Now we look for a date, which is cinemas. Now we have over 70 cinemas in Nigeria, so that's quite a large market. And then we also supply to Ghana, so that's also another market. If you find another content that cuts across the French guys, we go to Cameroon, another market. So what we'll do in that instance is look at the dating. Now I want to release a film called Victoria, and there is Captain Marvel just coming by the side. As somebody that understands the market, I can't put both of them together. Because, like I say, Hollywood is king. People will go to watch Hollywood than the Nollywood. So I would rather the Captain Marvel release on its own and say, maybe in the second week of Captain Marvel, I release Victoria. But if Victoria is like considered a blockbuster movie, then we'll go head to head. It just means that I need to back up my marketing. I need to make my marketing very integral. I need to target who I need to target. So that when the results are out in the opening weekend, it's not going to be like this and this. Yeah. You can say, okay, Hollywood did 60, Nollywood did 40. That's a win, a good win for us. So that's like the first step. And then it stays in the cinema, you positioned it, it's done, it's run. And the cinema has like a sharing formula, which is not here, we'll discuss all of that. And then you take your money at the end of the day. I take my money, the cinemas keep their money. Well done. Now, depending on the type of contract you have with your distributor, there's also the next window. What do we do with this film? The next window will now be, oh, it's good enough, let's take it to Prime or Netflix. Now the distributor starts the negotiation process. And most of the things that the distributor will be using is, how did they perform in the cinema? Did they do well? Aside not doing well, what is the message? Is this a film that fits the global market? Now, because you're going to the platforms, you need to be able to connect with the global audience. So you're not making films for Botswanas now. You're making films for the entire world if you're going to get outside the South African market. So it means that you, as a distributor, even if you made it to the cinema, you should be able to tell, can this film make sense on the streaming platform? So good and good, yes, it can. You find a deal for that. Netflix or Prime would keep it for about 2 years, and it is called an exclusive deal. This means that you cannot sell to any other person. You cannot even give your local TV station here in Botswana because there's a contract. And Netflix will pay you based on negotiation. In space of 2 years, you get your money like 4 times quarterly. You're done with Netflix. And then say the film did so well, people talked about it, it got a lot of engagement and all of that. The Netflix can say, okay, I want to renew. And then they make it a non-exclusive deal, which means that I give you more money, but I don't get to hold the rights to the film. You can then not sell to any other platform. Even if it's a streaming platform, you can go ahead. Right. So it means that more revenue for the producer. And then the next step is, oh, I can see that I can put my film online. There's a business called the airline business. People watch films when they travel. That's another market. I also see, oh, I can go to TV, paid TV. Now, that paid TV will be DSTV because that's the premium paid platform in Africa, unfortunately. So you go to paid TV. In Nigeria, we have like African Magic Yoruba, African Magic Oba, African Magic Igbo, just like that, depending on the level of the film. So I don't know if that exists here, but if it doesn't, then that will be an action point after this.
Right. Yeah. Let me chip in there because your starting point is a scenario that's very not similar to the Botswana market. First of all, I think there is only one cinema, or 2, or 3 in the entire country. But in that sort of scenario, I know that you probably would have had time to observe Riverwood or Gullywood or any other wood in Africa. So in the type of scenario where the launch pad, which was a cinema, as you mentioned, is not even, we can't call it developed. There's one cinema, like literally one cinema. Correct me if I'm wrong. 3. 3 These are the capital city only, not even spread out. So what would be your thought there?
Okay, so looking at the reality of Botswana, I think it's call to action. What should we do? Now we have just one cinema. I saw the cinema, it's a standard cinema. You need to be able to work with that cinema, not in the capacity of having a premiere. The more you keep having premieres in the cinema, the more you're not ready to grow the market. Start with one thing. In Accra, they have just 3 cinemas and they're working with it. So you can start from somewhere. And what this will do is that one film starts and the cinema sees that, oh, there is something there. And they keep programming. And it just means that more content will have the opportunity to go to the cinemas. And because you have a neighboring country like South Africa, if you have a distributor who understands the market and all of that, we can also take this outside. Because you have Botswana living in South Africa, you are neighbors. You can also take this outside and work with the number of cinemas you can get. You don't need to have 100 cinemas to start. You start with one, you just need somebody that understands distribution. You don't understand, but you're ready to understand. You just need that agency. That's the first step. The second step is, what else can we do? TV. And which is where Andrew comes from, TV. What is available? If you have your local TV, now this is the time for you to upgrade your content. Maybe you're not making enough money from TV here because your content does not look packaged. It's time for you to start following some type of, you need to have a mentor. You need to have something that reminds you of your dream. The mentor does not have to be a Botswana. It doesn't have to be a Ghanaian or a Nigerian. Any filmmaker that is successful, check Google, you find them. Look at how they do. How do they do this? Try to model this in your film. And then when you're selling to the TV, sometimes don't be the one to close the deal. Get somebody that understands how to market. Somebody that can pitch. Because there's something about packaging. If I go as a layman to the TV guy and I say, I want to put my film here, he's going to tell me there's no money, there's no money, there's no money. I know there's money. Because TV makes money from advertising. So because I understand the business, you can't tell me there's no money. I'll try to negotiate my way. And then at the end of the day, we'll come to a common ground. So I would say get somebody that can pitch, get somebody that is marketable. Somebody that understands. It doesn't have to be a film person, just somebody that knows how to sell, a salesperson. And then with time, you make mistakes, but you will learn.
Yeah. Now, let me chip in there, Victoria, and also give Andrew a moment to speak to that one about, say, a situation which is unique to Botswana. The industry in theatrical, which is cinema, is still developing. Actually, even broadcaster in terms of television is still developing. Just your thoughts as somebody that has played there. Not that you're giving us all solutions, but what your thoughts are and where to start off.
Yeah, so I would share my experience of getting into TV before I could own a TV channel. So I'll go to TV channels and say, okay, I have this content. They can't pay for it. They'll tell you, no, we don't have money. Maybe the content is not good enough. So what I did was, okay, so I have this product. You need my product. You need content. Take the content. Don't pay me. Give me 50% of whatever comes in. If you're able to pull in advertisers, give me 50%. If I'm able to pull in advertisers, I'll take 50%. So what I do is I become a middleman. I go to the MTN and tell them, oh, I have airtime on TV. I can give you airtime on TV. So just give me half the money. I'm going to give you a TV channel.
We can relate to that, right? Someone
I collect the money from them. I go to the TV channel and say, okay, so I've gotten this advert to put on my program, but I'm not going to pay you that rate. They're going to negotiate that rate, and then we'll come down, and I still give them half of the rate they're going to give to me. So I make money, they make money, everybody. It's a win-win situation. So that's basically how where you could start from. If it's difficult to move into the other market, but for your local TV channels, you can make. So I just believe that it's not possible that they are not making money. They won't be running, they are not making money. Okay. So you have to take a second step, look away from them, go to the brands. Just like you said, have a pitch deck. I sent the pitch deck to a couple of people. Make sure you can write the tone, the feel, who is in the film, package it well. Go to any TV channel and say, I have this on TV and I want you to buy into it. They will buy into it. And you start from there to make more.
Okay, and I think right up to this point, we're talking about distribution as a useful area to develop for us as filmmakers. But I also would like for you to speak just one more comment on distribution as a business to take up. where you sit there and you are just distribution, not where you are the filmmaker and trying to get your product into markets, where you just focus on the business of distribution. Is there money there?
There's a lot of money. There's a lot of money, I can tell you that. But you know, you have to, I wouldn't say you have to live. So what I did, let me just give you my blueprint. So I used to be in the banking industry, and I got tired, and I left the banking industry, came into PR. After seeing the kind of money I make for a PR firm, I said, no, I can't sit here and be making money, you're paying me peanuts. So I resigned and sat in my house. And I kept watching TV. So when you keep watching, you will see the in between, you will see what is missing. You will see the kind of programming that is not there, that you are seeing online, or they are seeing somewhere else, that you can do. And when you introduce, people will say, whoa, this is good. So as an individual that's going to a filmmaker, that's not a filmmaker, when you see that, go and identify filmmakers that can make that kind of film. So what you do is, you are a link. They are just doing their thing. They are making craft. They are doing fantastic things, stunts. Just go to him. Hi, do you have where you want to put this thing? Say, no, please, I have where I can put it. Yeah, perfect, good, tell me. You go back to the channel. I say, I see that you don't have this. I can bring you this. You say, oh, really? Give it to me. So you go to him and tell him, I'm going to distribute it for, how much do you want? I'll ask you. How much do you want? 10,000. Fine, I'll go to the channel. He wants 50,000. That's a distributor for you. I'm just being real. He wants 50,000. So because I know they will also beat it down. So maybe per venture to 25,000, 30,000. Are you comfortable with 10,000? Sign. Take your 10,000. I collect 50,000. I remove the remaining and I sit down. I will still negotiate the royalty for you. And you will still give me percentage on your royalty. 20%, 30%, depending on what we agree. So as a distributor, you can be a distributor and not be a filmmaker. But you have to understand the business. You also have to understand the technicalities. You don't just give me any product. The product has to be good. Like she said, you have to give me something to sell. I was able to sell it and be proud of selling it.
Where's the money?
The money is for you. Okay, so another approach to what you said is there an opportunity to be a distributor? Yes, there is. And how do you go from there? Because you have no experience, you've not done it before and all of that. The first step would just be, okay, where can I put a film? That's your first question. If you're able to answer this question, because you look around, where can I put a film? Once you have the question, then you go to that place and say, oh, I want to be supplying you films. What do you think? The person may tell you yes, the person may tell you no. And once you're able to say, oh, I'll get you, like a marketer knows how to sell. You have to say the film is the best thing, even if it's not the best. You package it. That's what we do in Nigeria. We know how to package. You say, you have the best film from Botswana. You've never seen it before. And you have to, so you are not the producer, remember, you are just a distributor. Now, what you're trying to do is convince. You've managed to bubble the person, and the person is like, okay, bring it. And then you speak to the owner of the film. Okay, I'm going to talk to Mr. A. And we don't really know how much they want to offer, but what would you like? They'll give you their, 500K, whatever, I'll take it. Because sometimes producers are desperate. Now, as a distributor, if you want to stay in business and control large volumes of film, I would say be transparent. That's one thing I would say. That's how you can stay in business for a long time. Be transparent and you have a lot of volumes. What you can do is create a contract between you and your producer so that you're not going to go and sell. The producer is giving it to somebody else to sell. You people now get to the market, all of you are confused.
Yeah.
So create you can call it like an agreement that says that you are giving me the permission to go and sell. And then if you give me a locality like Gaborone, don't give it to somebody else. Let this person try first. And when you want to break the contract, go back the same way you created it, same way you annul it, before you go to another person. So there's no issues here, and then we start going to court to fight. Now, when you get to these places, and then they say, okay, I can give you 200K, and you say, I want 500K, you try to negotiate, and you get more than 300K. The way we would work as a standardized industry is that we would tell the producer, that we have.
I'm going to start off with my question first. Has anybody in this room thought of or started doing distribution? Yes, thought of. Okay. Well, the floor is open.
Hi, my name is Tropiso. Thank you so much. I think everyone can agree that this was very insightful. So I study finance and banking. So when they speak of money conversion, that's my language. Thank you very much. I just wanted to know, there's a lot of positive things that have been said here concerning the fact that there are opportunities, that once you understand the language, once you understand the models, once you understand how to go about packaging, etc., you can make money. What I want to know, if both panelists will be so kind as to indulge me, is what were the biggest mistakes that you ever made that made you lose money? And maybe even looking at the current climate we have right now, what can you see that people should avoid? Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Shall I collect 3 questions and then take it back to our panelists? Okay.
Hello. So you spoke about target market, and this is something I've heard about a lot. But my question is, it kind of feels like it's limiting. I feel like you don't know what people may like or what they don't like. So how do you manage targeting a market that's going to get you money back versus trying to attract people who might not necessarily be in that target market? But I feel like even grown people can listen to young people's music or watch young people's films. So how do you target a market?
Very interesting question. How do you know who is this market? Or do you just want a big one-size-fits-all? How did you even get involved on markets? Yeah.
My question, independent producer, I've finished my film. Can you just explain to me what do you want from me as a producer when I'm approaching you as a distributor?
Interesting. All right, shall we give it back to our guests for those 3 first? First up is what mistakes have you both made that lost you money? How do you know what is target? And then, as producers in the house, where do we start the conversation with you distributors?
Okay. So to the first question, yes, we've made a lot of losses. I'll give you just a recent one this year. We launched our production studio, and then we decided to make a film. We invested, because we are producers, we're distributors, and we are exhibitors, so we have the cinemas as well. And then we made a film. So much marketing, spent so much money. We thought we had a target audience, so I'm going to come back to you. We thought we had a target market. We thought, in fact, we used an existing IP, an old film, we remade it and all of that. And at the end of the day, nobody came to buy the tickets. We tried. We did all the marketing. There was nobody in, say, Lagos, where about 60% of the money comes from. Everybody knew about this film, but nobody watched it. So what did we do? We took our learnings. We sat down to evaluate what happened. Was the film good enough? Did we really identify who our target audience were? Did we market it well? And the answer was yes, it was well marketed. It was well marketed, but the content did not match up with the marketing. So should we have invested so much in that story? No. But we had passion. I have this dream. So one of the things as a creative, as a distributor, as a filmmaker is, when you're telling stories, try to take yourself out of it, come out of it. Stand on the other side and say, this thing may flop and may not. And if it doesn't, and if it flops, what do I do? You need to take your learning. So you're going to lose. Let me just tell you the truth, you will lose, but you will win. And your wins will be more than your losses. So that's one example where we have lost. To your question, who are your target audience? I'll answer that in 2 ways. The first target audience is my story. Who is this message going to? Who is going to want to watch the film? You can ask a few groups of people, family members, they don't have to be your age mates, can be anybody. Share the idea with them. From their responses, you can get who this film appeals to. Even if it's music, music cuts across everyone, but we still have specific people that will listen to the type of music. So that's the first step when you're writing your film. Then the second step is, this film I'm creating, where is it going to air? That's another target audience. So what platform? Am I trying to go to the big screen? Am I trying to do TV? Am I trying to go on DSTV? Am I trying to do YouTube? Am I trying to do Instagram or TikTok? That's another target. You just need to be able to, so there are two target audience, remember, who the message goes to and what platform, what target platform. Then the last question is, I have a film. How do I approach the distributor? What do you do? So the first step is, I'm done with my film. And then I have somebody I want to speak to who is a distributor. You reach out to them saying, I have a film, and depending on how they receive films, I'll give you how we receive films. Basically, we'll ask you for a watermarked preview copy. You send us a link. If we are close, like in close proximation, like you can give me a drive, but it just has to be watermarked. I will then watch it and give you feedback. Now, depending on what kind of film you send to me, expect the feedback based on what you're giving me. So if you give me a short film, say you want to go to Netflix, or you want to go to the big screen, and I'll come back to you to tell you that there's no market there. Because the volume of short films on Netflix to feature films, you can see the disparity. So as a distributor, I'll come back to you based on what you've submitted. So I'd rather tell you, give me a feature film, because it's easy to sell a feature film than to sell documentaries, short films, or series, because that's very quick. Yeah.
Okay, Andrew?
Yes, I have lost money, and the biggest mistake during distribution is trusting the fact that people come to you when they need you or when they need money. Oh, don't worry, whatever it is, let's just sell. Sign, make sure you sign, put pen to paper. If you don't, you will have issues. So I've done something like that. I've done a distribution for based on the fact that, oh, I is Victoria, I know Victoria won't. But people change, things can happen, and I didn't get my money. I didn't even get a dime from it. And the person was feeling good about himself. So the biggest mistake is, if you don't sign, you must sign, put pen to paper. Don't say, oh, I'm just saying it. It's for people that write intellectual property, make sure that you have done the right thing. So that if anybody uses it, or you sign an NDA, to be sure that the person you're telling is not going to go and recreate it in a different form. So that's for losing money. Then for every for target audience, every film, let's assume we didn't even do what she asked, what she talked about. When you make a good film, every film has a target audience, has a market. So you now have to, from you making the film, look at the film, look at the market, and identify the audience that you are trying to reach. That's how you get the target audience, and you know where you're going to distribute or sell it to. For a filmmaker that has finished making film, I would rather say, before you make the film, talk to me about it. Let me see. That's why I would say, send me a pitch deck. What's your film going to look like? How is it going to be? Who are you targeting? All these things, put it in a writing form. If I see that, that's as good as selling the film. So if you're going to make exactly what you have given to me as a pitch deck, I will sell the film before you even make it. I will know where to put it. I'll talk to buyers. Once they see it, they can give me a pre-sale deal and say, okay, we like this. When you finish producing, we'll give you so amount of money, so go and produce. So you know what you're going to spend to make your profit before you even do that.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your questions. I really would like for us to engage the experts who are bringing the sort of expertise that we haven't explored much, Mobotswana. So we have 10 minutes left. Can we engage them a little further? I'll say to you that for all of you very brilliant creatives, it's like a tomato farmer who plants tomatoes and leaves them in the field to rot away if there is no distribution explored fully. All right, anybody with any other question? This side of the room?
Yeah. My question is just in terms of, I think, thank you very much. My name is Christian Apollos. I'm from Namibia. I work at the Namibian Broadcasting Corporation. Yeah, between Botswana and Namibia, there are similarities of the population size. And what we have experienced with most of the streaming companies is because there are not enough eyeballs compared with Nigeria, we cannot accept your product for distribution. I think today we have Bahu and the Giant, which is on Netflix. But the reason Bahu and the Giant is on Netflix is because it had a royal interest because of the rhino in the film. And I think more and more we need to be very convincing for Netflix to take on our projects. Now we wanted to know, is that the case in most instances? Because when you look at the target market, you look at the demographics, and demographics can be similar across Africa. And hence, how do you go about convincing a streaming company or a company that could really take on your product and have a bit of a return on investment as well?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. My name is Boganji Tokwa. And my question is, how do you deal with restrictive contracts when it comes to cross-platform screening, in case you want to go into the exploitation of intellectual property rights? Thank you.
Graders, please expand a bit, unpack it a bit. What does that exactly mean? Maybe with an example.
Okay, an example is, say I submit my film to the local television station, and they want to, say, screen this product for the next 2 years, and then they restrict me from using or screening in other platforms. And probably that will impact on the exploitation of other rights, such as printing of caps, T-shirts, and extracting the music, and also merchandising in general terms.
Interesting.
I don't know whether it's clear.
Yeah, they get it. We're talking about the distribution of copyright, and yes, a very delicate one. Is there one last question before we give it to? Okay, over here.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is John.
Hi, John.
Hello. My question is here. Let's say, for example, I have a compelling story and a very beautiful story, and because I don't have that much money, that much budget, let's say I shoot a trailer. Is it possible for me to confront the distributors and show them the beauty of what I have shot on my trailer? Is it something that can be possible?
Okay, I think Andrew was speaking to something like that. Let's give you the 3 questions.
So I'll take it from the last. She will be able to handle a lot about all the back-end contract and all of that. Yes, there's something called proof of concept. So if you have so everybody says they have good stories, but then you need to be certain that your story appeals to the big audience. It cut across just Botswana. So if you have a story that tells the story of Botswana, that tells the culture, talks about a lot of things that people want to see, not in Botswana, outside Botswana, and you put it into a film well written, yes, you can just make a proof of concept. When you make a proof of concept, what that means is you've shown me that this story can really work, and I've seen it from your trailer, from your way you color grade and all of that, and your picture quality. Then I, as a distributor, will now take it up upon myself and go to platforms that I know will be interested, and I'll get them interested, and they will give me a nod to say, yes, if you make this film, I will take it. Then I'll come back to you and say, okay, let's find the money. You now have to give me the pitch deck. I know I can make money from it. I have a nod from the platform I'm selling. I go to my investors and say, see the cards on the table. You are not losing anything. Give me the money, and I'll give you back the money with your interest. Then I call you, give you money, we make the film, and we're good to go.
Okay, Victoria, jump on that license and copyrights.
So for copyrights, like I say, depending on the contracts, before you sign anything with anybody, you need to know what you're signing. What is the contract saying? Is it an exclusive deal? And if an exclusive deal is to not be able to sell this content to anybody, then it is the film and not the title, not a match. So first of all, what is written in the contract? You cannot sign off something that limits you to exploiting your title acts. So before you sign, read it well. Nobody's going to put that in the contract to say, because I'm going to exhibit your film for 20 years, you cannot wear a merch of the film. It's not possible. But just in case somebody puts that in the contract, please don't sign it. Do not sign it. So before you sign anything, read. That's the answer to your question. And if it does not make sense, consult, ask people. Something that you don't know, you do not know. That's the answer to your question. So the third, there's another question.
Namibia. You want to repeat your question, please, sir?
The streaming, yeah, I remember now. Okay. So every market and the streamers are totally different. The way the streamers will engage is totally different from the way the streamers will engage you in Botswana. I will use Nigeria as an example, Nigeria and South Africa. You can check on Netflix and you see a lot of Nigerian, South African content, but our terms of engagement are totally different. Now, Netflix can come and say, I would commission you, so I give you money to make a film. And why would they do that? They must have seen some of your previous jobs, and they think that if they give you money, you can do it. And at the same time, they're going to have to guide the way at which you're telling the film. It may mean that your storyline may be changed, because you're now talking to a global audience. It may even mean that they give you the story and they ask you to film. So depending on what the contract is. Secondly, it can also be the movie has been shot, it's been done, it's gone to the cinema, it didn't go to the cinema, and then a distributor shows it to them, and then they think that it can cause some form of engagement. Not like it's a fantastic film, but for the engagement, Netflix could buy it. So depending on what the streamers need at the time, depends on the kind of films they will buy. If I took an epic film to Netflix or Prime, and that the epic film was well done, they'll buy it. Because the number of people who make epic films on a good scale are not a lot. If I take drama, there are so many dramas. So now if my drama is not distinctive from yours, they might not take mine. If I take a love story, there are so many love stories. Yeah, so you need to be different, and you need to know what the market wants at the time. And what is applicable in South Africa may not be in Botswana. Then to your population, because you are saying that because you think you have a smaller population, they may not be able to buy your films. I do not agree with that. I feel like if you have made the right film, if you have positioned that film as something that they shouldn't miss out on, they'll be the one looking for you. Because that's how it happened in Nigeria. They looked for Nigerians. Now, we don't have Netflix office in Nigeria. Everything happens in South Africa. And there's always this debate of, I wish what South Africa has, they can give to Nigerians. There's always this debate. People keep saying that they don't give to Nigerians good budgets as they give to South Africans. We understand why, because South Africans will do a better production. If you look at the way they will shoot the films, it's totally different from the way the Nigerian will. And Nigerian is very fast. Because we're thinking of the next day. We're very quick. Sometimes we don't do our research. We just do it back. If you don't monitor us, we are done. And that's why you can see that every day people are filming, people are putting things out there. Because we don't have, nobody is checking what we are doing. We just, they film, they go. But you see South Africa, they have a period where they can't film because of shorter day, longer nights, and what have you. We don't have all of those restrictions. When we create the sets, even if it's dark, we bring sunlight. That's Nigeria. So what works there may not work here. So you just need to be able to figure out what type of story do you want to launch out there. And for my advice, I would say, if you want to do something big, don't rush. Collaborate. Because that's what has helped us. Let me give you a quick story. The Nigerian industry, or the Nigerian Hollywood space, evolved in 2016. We have been doing films since. We've been doing VOD, DVD, and what have you. At some point, the Civil War came, everything went down, we lost cinemas and all of that. In the 90s, we began to do films, and it was all home video. DVDs, piracy continued. And then the cinema business came in. They had like 1 or 2 cinemas in Nigeria. People were just doing the small films and going on. But in 2016, the narrative changed. How did it change? There's a film called The Wedding Party. That was what changed our landscape. How did it change it? 4 producers, production company came together to make a film. Now, it means that if I had 10K, he had 10K, she had 10K, we brought it together and we told a big film. So we are sharing the risk. We're sharing, so if my strength is in marketing, like Moa Kutu, that was her strength. She marketed the film. That was her strength. Film One, which is the company I work for, we were also the production company. What did we do? We positioned it. That's our strength. Now we had another company called Koga Studio. They had the cameras, they had everything. The money that would have paid somebody, they equated it into equity. And they brought the cameras and they did the shoots. The last company is Inkblots. They are an investor company then. They had like people that were willing to invest and all of that. They brought the money. All of these things, and we got a director called, she's called Kemi Adetiba. She did King of Boys. She directed the wedding party. Now, they didn't cut corners in that film. I remember when they were shooting the wedding scene, I was just an intern. No, I think I just got the job in my company when they were shooting the film, yes, that was in 2015, 2016. I just got the job there. And then, they wanted to do the wedding scene, they were looking for extras. I remember when the producers came and said, we can't film this way. People must wear clothes. So in Lagos, we have what they call ashwebi, that's fabric that we sew. They made sure everybody that was supposed to be in that scene sold a clothes that looks like you were going for a party. I know we're very extra people, very loud people. So they made it look like it was a real wedding. They had caterers serve food. Like the display was a whole lot. If you didn't even know that they were filming, you would actually think it was a wedding. Now the actors, the bride, Adesua and Banky, they made them wear a proper wedding gown and wedding suit, did all photo shoots and all of that. And then look at the outcome. Yeah. It became phenomenal. And since then, people now saw that there's power in collaboration. Instead of rushing to make a film, why don't we come together? Okay. Maybe 4 people and you make your good film.
Yes, my timekeeper is looking at me like time's up. I have to throw this in though, because you're talking about collaboration, which is a big area to shift our mind towards as independent producers. It's a big one. But then another big one that I'm picking up here is look outside first, BTV, look outside, secondly, the borders of Botswana. And I want to ask then, what are the opportunities, say maybe in just the region, in Africa? Because for one, with a population of 2 million, like Namibia, we are hardly going to find a market for all of these producers. What are the opportunities across Africa?
Okay, so I penned down some things so that I do not forget. And I think the first thing to do is develop your stories. That's your first action point. Because if you don't develop your stories, you may create it and there's nobody to buy it. So the first thing is your story. When I say develop your structure, make it commercial, let it have the ability to travel. Travel, I mean, even to Namibia, even to South Africa, it should have the tendencies. A South Africa should watch the film and say, what is this? There should be interest, because you start from your neighboring country before you conquer the world. So that's the first step. The second step will now be, what is available? I still go back to the cinema. You have one cinema. How can we engage the cinema? We need more stakeholders. So if the government is here, and I'm sure the government is a part of this, we need to be talking about that.
Yeah, the
next step is, if I make films for festival, okay, that means I should be doing festivals. You don't have any business with TV if you're going to be doing festivals. Then you need to start doing your research. Which festivals do I want to take this film to? Start to look for the money. And a good thing, you people have a lot of support when it comes to travel allowance and all of that. We don't have that in Nigeria. If you want to go anywhere, you go by yourself. Nobody supports your tickets, nobody gives you anything. So you need to be able to check what applies, if a place is visa free and all of those things. You check them. Then the next thing is collaborations. Very key, very important. Even if you don't have the money amongst yourself, you have brands, you have companies. I shared with somebody yesterday, I said, you can actually speak to a brand to say, oh, you make water. I can put water in my film. Just give me 2 million naira. Let me put it in the film and add to my production budget. If that brand was supposed to advertise this water, it will spend more money. because we rent camera, we bring director, we bring crew, we bring all of this, but just give me the money. By then, your production budget is what is getting better. Then another thing that you can do again to make it very fast, because you cannot wait. Another thing you can do is position your culture. In Nigerian films, no matter what, you will see something that talks Nigerian, our slangs, our food, our fashion, our behavior. Don't shy away from who you are. You guys have a very distinctive accent. Use it well. You don't need to speak like a Ghanaian or a Nigerian to tell use your accent. People will accept you for whom you are. And then lastly, we need a lot of conversations like this. Infuse tourism into, if tourism is what sells Botswana, please do tourism. Like infuse it in your film so that people can say, okay, destination Botswana, there are animals here. Infuse that in your film. You can make it comedy. And then lastly, the time is now. I think you should start.
The time is now. We're not getting there slowly but surely. Step slowly.
Okay, so she has pretty much said everything, but one thing I'll say to the Namibians and Botswana, I believe you have good stories. What is important at this point is to be able to make your story very relatable. Let everyone across the world be able to understand what you're trying to say. Don't say it, okay, you want to say, how are you in Botswana? You know how you say it. But say it in a way that someone in the US would understand, even without you speaking English. So your story should be very relatable. If you have that, then you can now collaborate. Look for people that have done successful films. For example, pick a Nigerian that you like the style of filming and say, okay, guy, I have this story. This is my story. Let's develop it to suit the Nigerian market, the South African market, the Botswana market. When you have those elements in that film, there is no way anybody will say, I'm not buying. Because when you look at the film, you want to, the first thing a streamer or a platform will look at is, my audience, would they relate to this film? Can I see my audience in this film? So you, as a writer, as a producer, as a filmmaker, think like the platforms. You want people outside Namibia, Botswana to see your films, to like your films, and to be able to pay for your film. So you will write the stories, invite the collaborators, look at the story, then you rephrase it, put what you need to put into it, but be original, because people want to see originality. And once you are original and you have all that, I, as a person, can say, okay, this film is good enough. Give it to me, don't worry about anything. I'll take you around the world. When your films are around the world, then the in-house, the people in Botswana, start to believe that we can do something and take it out there. Don't make films just for yourself. Don't say, oh, my sister would like this kind of, so let me do it. No, make film for everyone to like.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a hearty round of applause for Victoria Oga from Film One Entertainment and also Andrew Ohio from EIC Group. Thank you both very much, and we appreciate it. My name is Wanda Bantu. It has been fun. Thank you.